So this time around, let's look at some basic interface. We will not be looking at it in details now. We'll be looking at some of them later on, and so that the video length will not be that long. So this is our interface generally, and under our ribbons, we said we have some tabs under our ribbons. Under your home, you have your copy, your paste, your cut, and then this is your format painter. Yeah, so under here we have the fonts where you can change your fonts to any type that you want. You can increase the size of your font to anything you want, or you can use here or here to also increase or decrease your fonts. So for here, if you want to bolding, you want to highlight, yeah, you want to italicize rather, you want to underline, you can also double underline. If you want a border around your cell or your group of stuff, you can also do that here. If you want to change the color of filling, you want to change your font color, that's over here. And if you want to change your alignment, whether your left alignment, your center alignment, your right alignment, you have them over here. Then you have your top alignment, you have your mid alignment also, and then your bottom alignment also. For this, we use this one to change your orientation. So we use this to change your orientation, whether vertically, horizontally, whether clockwise, whether anyhow you want to change your orientation of your text. So for example, I can pick this, and I can change the orientation anyhow I like. Can you see that? So that is basically what this is, what that is for. So and then your normal, your basic shortcut also works. Like your Control Z to undo, your Control C to copy, and then your Control V to paste, like your Control X to cut, like your Control V to paste, exactly. So and then this your guy, if you click on this format painter, it will copy the format over here, and then if you click on this, it will paste it over here. Can you see the text remains the same, but then it copies the format over here. So for your this is what we call your wrapping tools. This is your wrapping tool. For example, this guy is encroaching another column, so I can wrap it to stay inside this place. Can you see that? It will just make the row to be it will increase the height, and then just make sure that everything is inside the box. So if you also want to merge and center, also this is also your play around tools to also match. If you want to match, for example, can you see that I've been able to match that, so that these two cells can come together as once, and I can double click this just to increase, just to reduce the height of that also. So that's about that. And then all this is around our number. If you are working with percentage, you want to change the currency, if you want to change the number of decimal points, you want to change to this. So that's that. So you'll be seeing some of them as we go along in the class. This is your conditional formatting. Your conditional formatting, there will be a class or conditional formatting on its own. Also formatting as table, and your self styles also, be looking at that. All these ones, they are for your inserting. If you want to insert a new column, can you see a new row rather, or even a column, can you see that you can always insert. If you want to delete also, that's the same thing. So if you want to format, if you want to change your row height, your column width, and then auto fit and the likes, these are just your formatting. And then these are your basic arithmetics, your aggregating functions. So you have your sum, you have your average, you have your count number, you have your maximum, and you have your minimum. So all these we are going to be looking at them as our basic functions before we go to some advanced function that we can actually learn. Your filtering and sorting also, we are going to look at it when we get under our table to see how we filter and how we sort, and the benefit of filtering and sorting. If you need to quickly search for anything and replace them on your Excel worksheets, you can, in fact, the whole workbook, you can easily find it here, and then replace them and some other things. So under your insert, if you want to insert your pivot table, which you are going to do later, if you want to insert your table, your checkbox, not Excel as checkbox, but then 365 as checkbox. So if you want to insert a form, you want to design a form that you can send the link to people, and then people will fill the form, and then it will be reflecting directly on your Excel sheet. This is available on Microsoft 365. And then your chart, we'll also be having a class on your chart to look at all these guys. So for your drawing, you don't really need anything about this. For your page layout, if you are not printing, you don't really need this. If you are not printing or setting to you are not or converting to PDF to share your file out, you don't really need this. But then if you are doing all these are just your margin, this is your margin, this is your orientation, whether landscape or post portrait. This is the size of your paper that you want to print to or you want to convert to. This is your print area. You want to set your print area. If you want to break, inside page break, remove page break. This is how you can. This is what you can use for that. If you want to add background picture, you can do that here. If you want to change the order of your stuff, whether to bring one in front of another one and the likes, or to the back of another, this is it. For your alignment, you can also use this guy for your alignment. If you are maybe possibly building your dashboard and you want it to be maybe aligned to be, you want to use a ruler, so just to ensure that they are snapped to grill. So you can use that. If you want to group shapes, text together, you can use your group function. Then your formula also we're going to look at Excel houses a lot of formula that they are good for our basic mathematics arithmetics, and then even our statistical arithmetics, our financial arithmetics, and quite some other stuffs. So for your data, this is how one of the ways we bring our data in inside our Excel workbook. If you are dealing with data analytics in its context, this class is not about data analytics. So it is about how you can use it on the basic. So you might not, for basic people, you don't need to disturb yourself with all these. But then, yeah, text to column is a good function to learn how to use. And then your data validation, where you can use your drop down and some other things. These are things that you should have interest in. So on this, your review, all these are your view. I just having to do with how your view looks like and the likes. And you automate. If you are learning, if you are looking at your micros, your VBAs, which is an advanced part of your Excel usage, also that you can come to all this side. Your app, that's a very quick run through of your interface. So for some interface, there should be a developer, there should be data analysis. Some interface has data analysis here. So I believe I should be able to set it under my option also to put our data analysis over here also. So for that, they use the data analysis for that, for statistical analysis. If you are looking at this is basic class actually. So if you are looking at some statistical analysis, you are looking at some correlation, your regression analysis and the likes, Excel has statistical analysis function where you can actually perform that on Excel. But then let's keep this class simple, and I will see you in the next class.